Beaver. You seem kind of tired. Did you sleep all right?
Well, I guess so. I mean, sorta.
You don't sound really sure. Is there a problem?
I don't know. I kept having nightmares on account of that movie Wally and I went to see last night.
What movie was that?
I don't remember the name, but it was about these bugs that turned into giants and ate a bunch of army guys. On account of we were exploding atom bombs where they lived.
Oh, that's nice. Did it scare you?
Kinda. I mean, these bombs they keep blowing off are sort of scary. I heard that one time they did it, and it killed a whole bunch of sheep, and it made all the people in this town real sick.
I don't know about that, but I don't want you losing any sleep over those silly insect fear films. Your father says they're just an attempt to externalize our irrational fears generated from the Cold War and the threat of international communist aggression. Are you ready for some spam?
Well, I don't know, Mom. Are you sure that stuff's good enough to eat? I mean, look at it. It doesn't even look like a food. What do you think's in it?
I don't know what it's made out of. If you really want to know, you'll have to ask your father.
Mom, how come you're always telling me to ask Dad about junk? I mean, I know he's a great guy and all, but I think you should have some opinions of your own.
Well, Beaver, it's only 1957, and it'll be a few years before I can get a job, divorce your father, and have a few opinions of my own. Now, do you want that spam or not?
No thanks, Mom. The fat content in that stuff could cause a lot of problems to my coronary arteries later in life. I think I'll just catch an espresso at the coffee house with Alan. Bye, Mom.
Something the matter, dear?
Ward, I'm worried about the Beaver. The people he's been hanging out with, well, they're weird. And he spends so much time at the coffee house, reading poetry. I just don't know what the neighbors are going to think.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about it, June. He's just going through a stage. I'm sure he'll grow out of it before you know it.
Do you really think so?
Of course I do. You know, when I was a lad, I did some pretty wild things myself.
Oh, Ward, you're not going to start with those old stories about dock strikes and union organizing, are you?
Well, I was. But apparently I've told them before.
Good morning, Mr. Cleaver. I was wondering if I might have a word with Wallace.
Good morning, Eddie. I believe Wally's upstairs in his room.
Good morning, Eddie.
Good morning, Mrs. Cleaver. My, what a lovely dress you're wearing. It's so reassuring to see someone so well groomed in these times of declining moral standards.
Why, thank you, Eddie.
My father always says that good grooming is the key to a successful life. It's what separates us from those with so-called undesirable attitudes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really must speak with Wallace.
You know, Ward, I really don't trust that Eddie. I think he'd turn in his own mother if he thought he would get him something.
Dear, I think you're right. I'd better have a talk with Mrs. Haskell at the next meeting.
Hey, Wally! You're not actually doing homework, are you?
Hi, Eddie. Yeah, I'm doing some history.
What are you up to, punk?
Nothing, Eddie. I'm just looking at some stuff.
Come on, Wally. Don't be a chump. Forget doing homework. Let's go down to school and peep in the girls' locker room. They're having the aquacade today, so every good-looking chick in school will be there. Come on. We can sneak onto the roof and look in through the skylights.
I don't know, Eddie. I've got to finish this chapter on the threat of godless communism. And then Dad says I've got to mow the lawn before the neighbors start talking about how our yard is bringing down the property values around here.
Come on, Wally. Why don't you have the punk do it? It doesn't look like he's doing anything important.
No way, Eddie. I'm going to a poetry reading. Besides, I mowed the lawn yesterday.
Oh, yeah? My old man says the only people that go to those poetry readings are commies and perverts.
They are not. Hey, Wally, what's a pervert?
Gee, Beef, I guess it's like those guys who try and give you candy to get in their car. And sometimes they like to do goofy stuff with animals and take pictures of it.
Oh, well, none of my friends like to do stuff like that.
So they're your friends, huh? Friends like that could get you into a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah? What kind of trouble?
I got an uncle on this big committee, and they're always having hearings, and they're always looking for little creeps like you to throw the book at.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. My uncle might be real grateful if I handed him a punk like you, and he's loaded.
Listen, Eddie, this is a free country. You can't tell me who to be friends with or what to read or nothing. If I want to read poetry or listen to jazz, I can, and you can't stop me. Bye, Wally. I'm going to the coffee house.
Hey, look at all this stuff. He wasn't kidding about this junk.
Cut it out, Eddie. Leave the little squirt alone. He was just messing around. He doesn't mean anything by it.
Oh, huh? Yeah, listen, I gotta go. My lawn needs mowing too.
This is a man who smokes Marlboro cigarettes. What kind of a man is he?
I'm a guy who likes to work on my car. I like to take it apart and put it back together. I get to working on it and forget where I am, what time it is. I even forget to eat.
You don't forget to smoke, though.
I always smoke when I work. They go together.
Why Marlboro?
Well, it's a combination of things. When I draw on a cigarette, I want to taste something. With Marlboro, I do. Yet it's got a filter that works. Then there's this flip-top box. I like things that are well designed. This box is interesting and practical.
Would you recommend Marlboro to your friends?
I already have.
New Marlboro. Filter, flavor, flip-top box. Popular filter price.
Hey, Beaver.
Hey, Larry, what you got in the sack?
Oh, nothing. Just clothes, food, and stuff.
Are you running away from home again?
Yeah, I guess so.
What happened this time?
Well, my mom caught me trying on my sister's clothes, and she said that I was going to get it when my father got home.
You really get it a lot, don't you, Larry?
I guess so. It seems like my parents are always finding some reason to beat the hell out of me. Say, Beaver, you want to run away with me? We could join the Foreign Legion, or we could build a fort behind the pond and hide out till we're old enough to join the Navy.
Gee, Larry, I don't think I can today. I'm supposed to go to the coffee house with my friend Alan and listen to some cat read poetry. You want to come?
Well, I better not. My father says all the people at the coffee house are a bunch of pinkos.
Well, not all of them are pink. Some of them are real pasty white, and some of them are even black. Besides, what do you care what your pop thinks? Isn't he the one that's always kicking the crap out of you?
Yeah, I know. I still don't think I better. If he gets really mad, there's no telling what he might do.
Okay, Larry, see ya.
Bye, Beef.
For ComAcad's project.
Hi, Alan. What's going on?
Be cool. Jack is about to rap.
When I think death, I get goofy feeling. Then I catch my breath. Zero is appealing. The princes are hazy. Smart went crazy. Smart went crazy. A flower in my head has fallen through my eye. Sometimes I'll be dead. I love the love on high. I wish she'd pull my daisy. Smart went crazy. Smart went crazy. I asked the lady, what's a rose? She kicked me out of bed. Ask the man, and so it goes. He hit your own head. Nobody knows, nobody knows. At least nobody said. The time I went to China to lead the Boy Scout troops, they sank on my ocean liner, and all I sent was spoofs. All the doctors think I'm crazy. The truth is really that I'm lazy. They made visions to beguile them till they put me in the sun. Now I'm a pot and the god's a potter, and my head's a piece of putty. Off my darkness, lock my looks. I'm so lucky to be nutty.
Hey, creep. I got a present for you.
Hi, Eddie. What's this?
It's a summons. My uncle and his friends want to see you right away.
Hey, Alan. What's a summons?
Well, Beav, it's like when your big brother calls and you've got to go.
Go where?
Downtown, to the courthouse. And you better show up or you'll be in big trouble.
Speaking of trouble, my man, and you are it.
Hey, put me down!
Okay, man, you're a square. Those threads you're wearing look like they came out of a care package.
No, I mean, put me down on the ground, you hipsters. Hey, I'm okay, I'm gone.
You may be out, but you'll never be gone.
Gone is a word that will never be used for a cat like that.
The essence of uncool.
Tragically unhip. You dig?
I dig, but he does not dig, and he will never be dug. You dig?
Conformist.
Real cream, real cream, real cream, real cream. A little that'll do ya. Use more, only if you dare. But watch out, the gals will offer to ya. They'll love to get their fingers in your hair.
Get Brill Cream in this handsome package today.
All over America for fast relief, it's Speedy Alka-Seltzer. It's Speedy Alka-Seltzer. On that most folks agree. The choice of every party in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. When congressmen debate a bill, headaches are a common ill. But they take Alka-Seltzer, too.
What's good for me is good for you.
This meeting will come to order. We're here to question Mr. Theodore Cleaver.
Everybody calls me Beaver.
All right, Mr. Beaver, do you wish to make an opening statement?
No, but my friend Alan has something he'd like to say.
I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving hysterical naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn looking for an angry fix. Angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo in the machinery of night.
That will be quite enough, Mr. Allen.
Ginsburg.
Whatever. I will not allow you to stain the dignity of these proceedings with that beatnik poetry. I fail to understand the meaning of your remarks, sir.
I'm hip to that.
What? Is that some sort of anatomical reference?
No. It's just that I dig that I am not dug in high places. I'm out of here.
Hey, mister, is there some reason you guys wanted to see me? This is getting kind of boring.
Well, Mr. Beaver, we have some questions to put to you that we consider vital to the security of our country. Do you consider that boring?
Jeepers, is this some kind of test? Because if it is, I didn't have time to study, and I don't think that's fair.
We'll decide what's fair, punk.
If I may continue, Mr. Beaver, if I may continue. Mr. Beaver, are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
I don't think so. I was in Cub Scouts, and we had meetings and everything, but we never had any parties.
Are you saying that you have no recollection of your membership in a subversive group? I find that hard to believe, especially in light of the document I hold here in my hand. A document that was never meant to see the light of day. A document stating that you have consistently refused your mother's request to eat your spam.
Order. There will be order, or we'll clear this room.
Now, Mr. Beaver, it has also been brought to our attention that you have been seen in the company of beatnik poets and jazz musicians. Are you aware that these groups have been listed as fronts for and doing the work of the Communist Party?
Listed by who?
That's for us to know and you to find out, you little creep.
You know, this whole thing is starting to make me real sore. First, there's some test I didn't get to study for, and then there's a party that I wasn't invited to. I bet you they had cake and everything. And then there's some secret list I gotta figure out. It's not fair. You guys are picking on my friends, and you made my mom sign some stupid paper. I think you guys are real mean.
I know this hurts you, Mr. Beaver.
I think it hurts you too, Your Honor. And if you want to go around hurting people's feelings and pushing them around and stuff and being friends with a jerk like Eddie, I don't think you're ever going to have any fun. And one more thing. I'm never going to eat that Spam, and you can't make me.
Hey, Beav, what's the hurry?
Hi, Jack. Those guys in there are real mad at me. I got to go.
Come with me. Neil's got the studio ready to roll. Climb in, Beav.
Hi, Neil.
Okay, Neil, let's roll.
Here we go. Feel the purity of the road? That white line in the middle is about to unroll and hug our front tires if it's glued to our groove. As we pass here and go on the road to heaven, we gotta never get hung up. Go every direction, let it all out. Know the time. Have nothing to do but rock back and forth until we finally get it. And when we get it, we'll be there.
Neil hunched over the wheel and under. He was back in his element. We could all see that. We were all delighted. We all realized that we were leaving the confusion and nonsense behind and performing our one noble function at a time. Move. And we moved.
But where are we going, man?
I don't know, but we gotta go. It don't matter, road is life.
Hey, Jeff, do you think we'll be home in time for dinner?
I wouldn't count on it, Beav.
That's all right. We'll probably have Spam anyway.
I am the Spam Man. Spam Man.
Oh, yeah?
I am, and I've talked to you about that already. Spam is as American as apple pie and baseball.
Why?
I love it.
Spam,
Why?
Spam has been around for generations.
And how long have you been eating it?
Since 1970. I ate my first can of Spam in 1970.
The whole can in one sitting?
My favorite way to prepare Spam is Spam and eggs. You do... Serious, Spam and eggs. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can make a Spam omelet. Or you can take the Spam and slice it like you would scrapple. Or any of you prepared
What's scrapple?
Spam is preserved. You can carry it with you places that you can't carry other types of fresh foods. So you open a can of Spam and you know that it will always be succulent and meaty and fresh.
Live from Lunar Central Network, this is a special report on recent discoveries about the distant past.
Greetings, I'm Mary Alvin. Over 1,000 years gone by since the 1960s, a decade thought to be lost forever in the sea of time. But just a week ago, an underground vault full of historical documents in the United States in the 1960s was just uncovered near the original lunar landing site. Much of the original material has deteriorated to moon dust over the centuries. However, the fragments which remain paint a portrait of an era of intense change. We now go to correspondent Jane Armstrong in the vault itself. Jane? Well, Mary, when a team of archaeologists unlocked this room 8 days ago, they unlocked the secrets of an entire decade. They opened a treasure trove of knowledge from a bygone era. They found the hidden prize at the bottom of the cereal box of history. Get on with it, Jane. Sorry. When a team of archaeologists unlocked this room 8 days ago, they were greeted by this photograph. It is a portrait of John F. Kennedy, the man who led the United States into the 1960s. On the back of this photo is this quotation dated July 1960. "We stand today on the edge of a new frontier, the frontier of the 1960s, a frontier of unknown opportunities and perils, a frontier of unfulfilled hopes and threats." Kennedy captured the imagination of the country in a way that nobody had seen before. Newsman Larry Newman said at the time, "Whatever he had, it was real and it was magic." Many people referred to the White House as Camelot, apparently believing that John Kennedy and his wife Jacqueline were reincarnations of the King Arthur and Queen Guinevere of the 6th century Britain. Kennedy's holy grail was the new frontier, a grand and global alliance to combat tyranny, poverty, disease, and war. His quest for the grail was cut short when he was assassinated in 1963. His murder shocked the nation and set off a controversy that lasted for several decades over who was responsible for his death. Was it lone gunman Lee Harvey Oswald, or was it a CIA plot? Well, right here in my hands, I have a document that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that John F. Kennedy was killed by my mother. Jane? Jane, we seem to be having some technical difficulties. Let's go to Diana Glenn, who's at the Lunar University of Important Facts and Stuff. Now? Okay. Here at the university, professors have been studying books and films from the 1960s time capsule around the clock. They have found some very important facts. Indeed, the late 1950s and early 1960s was a time of heavy testing of atomic weaponry, reaching a peak of 1 atmospheric test every 4 days. According to this segment from a government training film entitled "How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb," production of nuclear weapons had accelerated to such a point that they were commonly used for recreation, replacing rodeos in some rural areas. By 1962, the U.S. had accumulated 4,000 nuclear warheads, twice as many as in 1955. In 1963, a test ban treaty was signed, limiting all testing to underground, but the damage had been done. I have with me Dr. Strangelove. A significant portion of the population was genetically altered by the massive amounts of radiation released into the atmosphere during this time period. The result was an entirely new series of animal known as the hippie. Young people were the most susceptible to this DNA transformation. Both the female and male hippies were marked by tremendous amounts of hair, especially the males, who commonly had thick, scraggly facial hair, clearly setting them apart from the average square, as the hippies called normal humans. Another genetic difference was larger lungs capable of holding great volumes of smoke for extended periods of time. We also believe that the hippie had what we call a free love gland, causing them to be more sexually active than most squares. Hippies shared the basic human appetites for food and water and sleep, but they also had a powerful appetite for music, especially rock and roll. This intense need for music led to the organization of a 3-day concert at Woodstock, which attracted hippies from all across the country. How did society react to this new species? There was a wide range of reactions. One square said, "I have no objection to any herd of semi-domesticated animals roaming around the country, uttering their mating cries and scratching their pelts, as long as they avoid centers of civilization and congregate only in college auditoriums." Another square wasn't so tolerant, calling hippies a red warning light for the American way. Two different societies emerged. The squares maintained the old culture, and the hippies created what was called the counterculture. The hippies claimed the Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco as their homeland. They lived in communal apartments, held conventions called be-ins, and created underground newspapers and pirate radio stations. Some squares led guided safaris through the Haight-Ashbury wilderness.
The hippies is often a strange world in which they live in. They take many trips. And the trip of the hippies is generally an unusual one.
These intrusions into the counterculture led many hippies to abandon the overcrowded and decaying Haight-Ashbury and create communes in rural areas. They grew their own food. They sang songs and made rope sculptures called macrame for entertainment. They slept in primitive tents and huts. They led a simple life with the intention of changing the world by example. Back to the question of radiation. Were there any other genetic mutations besides the hippies? It's difficult to tell with the limited evidence we have. But we do believe that another humanoid species, known as Barbies, began to thrive in the United States. Barbies had a tough plastic skin that protected them from their natural enemies, which included young human males and vacuum cleaners. Barbies had no muscle tissue and could not move. It is a miracle that they could even exist. The sole survival mechanism of the Barbie was its ability to inspire love and attention in young female humans. Back to you, Mary. In addition to all of the odd behavior of the hippies, other segments of the population began acting strangely. We may never know exactly why. Maybe it was the excess radiation. Maybe it was inspiration from the strangely captivating harmonies of the 4 musical insects who invaded the U.S. from Britain. Or maybe this generation was simply tired of all the peace and quiet of the previous silent generation. Whatever the reason, this generation would not shut up. In great numbers, they stood up, sat down, or marched and demanded things. They demanded that people with darker skin pigmentation be able to ride on buses and sit at lunch counters next to people with lighter skin pigmentation. They demanded that females be able to expand their range of activities beyond giving birth, filing, stapling, serving coffee, and wearing swimsuits. They demanded that the government stop sending this country's young men to another country to kill that country's young men, old men, women, and children. They demanded that they be able to demand things. They kept on demanding, even as other people ignored them, yelled at them, sprayed them with hoses, beat them with sticks, and fired metal projectiles at them. The friction between the silent generation and the loud generation built up over the course of the decade until finally, 2 people just couldn't take it any longer. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin came to the moon to get away from it all. They faked this footage and sent the Eagle landing pod back to Earth with 2 androids while they remained on the moon. They buried the vault full of historical documents under the American flag. On July 21st, Neil married Buzzelda, who had kept her gender a secret from NASA and the American public, and they started a family on the dark side of the moon. Then the Earth accidentally blew up in 1994, leaving the moon as the only known life-supporting planetoid in the universe. And after centuries of inbreeding, here I am telling you all about it. Well, I can't think of anything more to say. Good night.
Hey, look yonder, tell me what's that you see? Marching to the fields of Dunkirk. Looks like handsome Johnny with a carbine in his hand, marching to the Dunkirk War. Hey, marching to the Dunkirk War. Tell me what's that you see? Marching to the field of Korea. Looks like handsome Johnny with an M1 in his hand, marching to the Korean War. Hey, marching to the Korean War. Still marching, still marching.
Here's the story
of a guy named
stick.
Hello. Is anyone in there?
You're out to get me, aren't you? You're out to get me just like that fat hick Senator Irvin. Damn North Carolinians. Always chewing tobacco and trying to impeach you. You're trying to impeach me too. Don't deny it. Let's put all our cards on the table. It's time to be honest about our lies.
Mr. President?
I am not a crook. And even if I am a crook, Ford's going to pardon me, so there.
I'm just a janitor, sir.
Well, get back to work.
Yes, Mr. President.
And order some more presidential seal toilet paper. We're almost out. At least you love me, don't you, Checkers?
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
Welcome to Air Force One's special service for disgraced ex-presidents. Today's in-flight movie is The Blunders of Richard Nixon, Part 26.
I don't know about you, but I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore. Listen to this. This is an actual quote from a White House memo. How can we use the available federal machinery to screw our political enemies? Well, the Nixon administration succeeded in screwing their political enemies, and for an encore, they're working on screwing themselves. Here's a partial list of White House accomplishments: breaking and entering, wiretapping, destruction of government documents, forgery of State Department documents and campaign letters, secret slush funds, payoffs to silent witnesses, perjury, theft of psychiatric records, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. All that in under 2 years. We can only wonder what the Nixon administration could have accomplished if they hadn't been caught.
This is your captain speaking. I'm sorry to interrupt the movie, but I was just talking to the co-pilot, and we think Mr. Nixon is a world-class jerk. So, before I have him removed from the aircraft, I would like to say this to the ex-president. At your earliest convenience, please get a life.
By God, they're right. I've run this country into the gutter, and I've enjoyed it. I am a jerk, but how can I change? I've been a jerk for so long. I've got to stop being so hateful and angry and bitter. Damn piece of paper. Get off my shoe, you damn piece of paper. Do you know who you're dealing with? I'm Dick Nixon. I'll shred you like I shredded Ed Muskie. I'll destroy you. Wait a minute. That's it. Help save the world with love. Conscientious, sincere young men and women who are interested in bettering mankind, wanted for community service work. Potential for great personal fulfillment. Living, travel, medical expenses paid. Interviews at 1234 Krishna Avenue.
You are a little older than most of the members here at the Divine Light Krishna Unification Church, but still, I love you, and I know that the great guru loves you too.
Now, that's good to hear. Everyone else hates me, even my dog.
Because your mind troubles you, give it to me. It will not trouble me. Those who seek the truth shall find it.
What must I do?
You must renounce all ties to family and friends and worldly possessions. You must devote your life to the great guru. You must live in this house with us and clean the toilets. You must recruit more suckers like yourself.
Would you like a flower?
No way, freak.
Hey, you, have a damn flower.
You're the Divine Light Krishna Unification Church, aren't you?
Yes.
You've been duped.
What?
You're being used. The whole cult thing is a scam.
No, it isn't. I'm helping the great guru to conquer and subjugate the world with love.
The great guru has washed your brain so clean there isn't a speck of common sense left. You fell right into his trap. Let me guess. Before you joined the cult, you felt isolated and spiritually bankrupt, right?
Yes, I suppose so.
Your weasel guru knows that you've got needs that aren't being met by this vast wasteland of alienation we call a culture. And he's constructed a tightly knit, closed-minded community full of superficial affirmations of love, so you'll never want to leave. He's turned you into a zombie foot soldier in a war over lost souls.
So, what else can you do in this vast wasteland?
Do what I do. I'm a disco queen. Come on, Tricky Dick. Get down and boogie.
But I don't know how to boogie.
Well, it's time to learn the drop. It's easy, it's fun, and it's catching on like wildfire from coast to coast. The basic moves are a side-to-side step and point with a knee bend drop thrown in on the heavy beat. You can take that structure and go crazy with your own variations. You can dip, point, flail about, or do whatever else your heart desires. This may be the archetypical disco dance. It is absolutely at one with that boom boom beat, which allows you to instantly forget the trials and tribulations of your everyday life and join in disco mania.
I'd like to make a special request.
How many BPM does it have?
What?
BPM? Beats per minutes? See, I gotta keep the dancers in a frenzy when I pick a song. At least 136 beat per minute, or else the momentum's just gone.
I don't know the BPM. All I know is this song is hot stuff. It'll turn your polyester shorts into a smoldering pile of synthetic ash before you can say Disco Inferno.
All right, man, I'll take a chance on it.
Look at me, I'm the disco dog.
Hey, I'm a disco king. At last, I'm royalty.
Hey, man, come here. Throw that guy out of here. Out the front door or the back door. Throw him out of the state.
You can't just leave me here. I used to be president of the United States. What about me? What about me?
Everybody, get on the floor. Let's dance. Don't fight the feeling. Give yourself a chance. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Oh, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Oh, you can do it very well. You're the best in the world. I can tell. Oh, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Oh, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty.